Well, greetings and salutations, everybody. I hope everybody can hear me. I had to re-put together my computer here a little bit in my desk area, so it's a little had a little fun trying to talk the other night on or last night on I think it was Red's stream. But anyway, uh, nice to know that they and them. Well, guess what? The 1023 is out for FECore, which is the application for 501c3 status. And I've given it a provisional read through. It's funny how they try and make themselves like an actual scientific organization. Greetings, everybody. Hi, hey, happy Saturday. Um, but nevertheless, instead of Mike giving me the packet like he said he was going to 3 days ago, which he never sent to me, they actually put it up on their website, so it actually does exist now. And of course, there's no word of the 990s that they were supposed to file 2 years in a row, but you know, they are flat earthers. So anyway, so I have the 1023, and hold on a second. Let me scroll up here, and then, and by the way, this is public consumption. I don't want to hear any snot from anybody about me displaying this, as this is publicly available information. Okay, nobody owns a copyright on a 1023. This isn't a violation of anybody's privacy on a 1023. 1023s are designed to provide information to the public, but not put out personally identifiable information, or PII, about any individuals. So, let's see here. Let me go right screen and this and turn that off and transition. So, everybody should be able to see this by now. So basically, this is the 1023. And like I said, just a quick reading without doing any real deep research into. There's a whole lot of, anybody who's ever filled out a large government document, there's usually a whole block. You know, in this case, it's like 2-3 pages long of that particular block where it's all yes and no questions. And I'm sure I or somebody else will be getting to those at a later time. But I just went through this. My interest was the narrative and the bylaws and things of that nature. I wanted to see what they actually wrote about themselves. First part 5. All this is this is all a bunch of those yes and no questions and things that refer to other documents later in the packet. So, like I said, I'm just kind of zipping through that real quick. You guys will be able to read that at your leisure. Let's see. Part 5, 5A. Hold on a second here. Where is it? Here we go. 5A. Let's see here. Wait, do I have that? Oh, 5A. Okay, so it's, yeah, there we go. Have you adopted a conflict of interest policy consistent with the sample conflict of interest policy in Appendix A in the instructions? And they said yes, and they said see bylaws. Now, I need to inform you of something about conflict of interest. Now, conflict of interest is basically defined as, would somebody do something in a manner that is meant to support them in another function or in another area? Well, one thing that I noticed on the About Us page of FECore now, oh yeah, by the way, I'm allowed to show that now because my video's back and YouTube saw no, just like the rest of the world, didn't see any reason to have that as a privacy thing. So hold on a second, FECore, like that, About Us. Okay, now they've made a change to the About Us page, even though their web designer really needs to be smacked for his attention to detail, or her, whoever that is. What do you call it? But somebody that you don't see on here anymore is Jeranism. You still see Bob, which is going to play into this in a second, but you don't see Jeranism anymore. Even though, what was it? Okay, they finally did update it. Okay, it took them like 2 days to do it. but because Jaren was listed on here before. But it took them a little bit of time to update that. Seems to me they could have actually done the update before posting it. But the reason why Jaren's not on here and Bob shouldn't be on here is because Bob and Jaren are the operators of Globebusters. Okay, meaning that they are making an income. Jaren is making an income via Patreon through Globebusters. And therefore, any of the results that they put out that would be contradicting their narrative, in other words, the Globebusters or Jaren or Bob Nodell in this case for Seventh-day Truth Seekers, they would actually, it is in their interest to promote Flat Earth in the results here because of the fact that, and also Rick Hummer has a channel, Karen Endicott has a channel, and Kavanaugh's channel is not really based on it. But Steve Torrance, all of these guys here would actually stand to lose money if they did not prove the Earth to be flat. So therefore, at a very minimum, I don't know who Lurch is here, but what do you call it? Karen B, Steve Torrance, Bob Nodell. I don't know what Sandor's channel is or if he has one with material on it, to be honest. And Rick Hummer. These guys are all, that is a conflict of interest because what they are trying to do is they're claiming themselves as a scientific organization. However, claiming themselves as a scientific organization, which basically means that they are waiting for the facts to speak for themselves, they actually have a conflict of interest because at a very minimum, Bob Nodell and anybody else here who has a monetized Flat Earth channel is actually in violation because of the fact that they would stand to lose money. So therefore, they would make all of their results point in the same direction as their outside groups. So that's called a conflict of interest. And yeah, something that strangely is not addressed in their narrative. Because all of their board members would stand to, and I think it might be why Jaren went down because, or left at least the About Us page. I don't know if he's left FECore. I have no clue of that, but he's not listed here anymore. He used to be down here. Rick Hummer was up here. Steve Torrance was somewhere else. Anyway, because everything Globebusters. Okay, and everything that Jarenism does is either monetized or financially, he has a financial interest in the Earth being flat. So therefore, it would be a conflict of interest against science, a scientific organization, if you were actually walking into it with a bias because you don't want to lose money in your own private enterprises. See how that works? So, and yes, they do call themselves a scientific organization. So that was part 5, paragraph 5, item A. Now let's see, part 8 was the part that has influenced legislation. Half of your guys at least have said publicly that that NASA is a fraud, therefore are implying that NASA should be shut down. So therefore, that is an influence of a desire to influence legislation. It doesn't mean that they're lobbying, but it does mean that they are trying to influence legislation. They are trying to say, at least with their laser test, that the USGS was wrong. So therefore, they are trying to impact that. All of them have, at some point or another, said that NASA was wrong. Hell, even Mike Kavanaugh said in the clip that I had showed where he was being interviewed by Paul on a plane, he said that that he doesn't understand why he believed that horse shit, unquote, from NASA. So therefore, that is trying to influence legislation because of the fact that those are government agencies and you are trying to influence the funding and also possibly even the existence of those organizations. So, yeah. Sorry. Let's see. And item 10, under the same thing. Item 10. Where was item 10? Okay, now this was something funny. I thought this was really funny. Okay. Item 10 under part 8 is, it says, do you wish to publish, own, or have rights in music, literature, tapes, artworks, choreography, scientific discoveries, or any other intellectual property? They say yes. Okay. If yes, describe who will own or who owns or who will own any copyrights, patents, trademarks of which they don't have any copyrights, patents, or trademarks. Whether fees will be charged and how those fees are determined, blah, 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 blah. Okay, first of all, again, there are no copyrights, trademarks, or patents owned by FECore. None of them. Okay, not even their logo, not any of their publications. There are some basic copyright things in a publication that somebody puts out. However, the ability to use them for all the wonderful listed things such as teaching, criticism, etc., all of those things are covered under fair use, even if they did have a copyright, patent, or a trademark. Okay, I would be able to report on them. Period. Now, however, something else that was brought up in the Mr. French interview on Red's Rhetorics channel, if you haven't watched it, go watch the whole thing because it's absolutely awesome. One of the things that was put out in there is that if you are producing scientific results and those results are actually factual, you cannot patent or trademark or copyright facts. So therefore, me showing any kind of information that was put out to the public, and I'm going to show you the public part here in a second. Anything that was put out to the public is considered. Unless you're saying it's fantasy or it's fiction, which you would have to make the choice there, and you would also have to declare that this was your work of fiction. Scientific test results, if factual, are therefore can't be patented, copyrighted, or trademarked. Period. So it does lead one to wonder why it is that my FECore Can't Laser video is still down and I still have a copyright strike regarding that takedown, because no copyright was infringed, ever. Not even once. Unless, of course, you want to say that it's a work of fiction that you put out that I was criticizing. But even then, covered under fair use, because every part that I used, I went into detail of why I used it. Let's see here. Let's see. Part 10. Now, this one, I still have to go back and find the numbers on it, or the actual quotes on it. Part 10, number 1. Are you a private foundation? If yes, go to line 1B. If no, go to line 5. Okay. They have themselves as no. Now, I need to dig out exactly where it was that was stated, but can you move your phone away from... Oh, did you guys get the little hint there? I'm sorry. Hold on. I need to find out where the quote was, but it is kind of funny that he says that they're not a private foundation, because he said that there was a separate foundation to FECore, which was the reason why they could take those non-member membership fees. There was something about that, so I'm going to research that, and I will get back to you guys on that one. So I find it interesting that they wrote on here, "Are you a private foundation?" and they said no. So that questions the legitimacy of their membership fees that they advertise on the bottom of their page. So let's we'll go into that at a later date. Like I said, but that one really struck me kind of funny. Let's see here. Now, the activity narrative. This is what I was waiting for. Okay, the activity narrative. Now, there's a lot of great stuff to read in here, and those of you who actually know the people who are involved with FECore, half of this stuff is going to make you spit out your soda, so please, stay away from hot beverages and sharp items while reading it. Let's see. In A. I didn't make it past A. What do you call it? FECore has been organized to provide a scientific research program in geological earth sciences. Now, the funny part is that earth sciences is actually defined as a branch of science dealing with the physical constitution of the earth and its atmosphere, which they are not doing anything about that. Okay, now if you would like to say geometry or something like that about the shape of the earth, you can get into that at another time. Let's see. More specifically, the organization will work with scientists throughout the United States to study geological and earth sciences through experiments involving physics, quantum mechanics, and other sciences in order to, good thing that they put and other sciences in there, in order to benefit mankind as a whole. Okay, now first of all, I haven't seen a single scientist in any of their stuff, or anybody who would even call themselves a scientist. Well, might call themselves a scientist, but somebody who is actually a degreed scientist, I haven't seen that yet. Let's just say it that way. So it's okay, involving physics. That could be a gravity and the geometry, or the gyroscope one. Yeah, maybe. Quantum mechanics. Yeah, I'd really like to see you guys bring something out in quantum mechanics. Hell, you guys can't even. Never mind. And other sciences. So the other sciences is basically everything else. What do you call it? I will. Well, actually, here I think I can do it like this. This is the link. I was just asked in the chat to put a link to the document. I am putting a link in here. This is the link that I will show you. Hold on a second. Kavanaugh. I won't show you Kavanaugh's email, but Kavanaugh did give me this link. Oops. Sorry. Of the page. Oh, it looks like they're actually doing it. Yeah, now they're doing a yeah. Okay, this is changed in the last hour or so. Because it was just a link that went to the thing. Well, anyway, I'll just put this on here because this is the public way that they have it. I won't give you the link to the PDF document itself, even though that was what it was a second ago, and you can download it from this page anyway. So let me go ahead and put. Oh shit! Where'd the damn thing go? Oh, there it is. So I will go like this, and I'll go like that. This was given out to the public. So, let's see here. Where was I? Let me. Oops. No, I didn't mean to do that. Sorry. Now I got a bunch of windows open and I need to sort them out. Hold on a second. There we go. What? Where'd that go? Eh? What the heck, man? All right, there we go. So, back over to the form. Downsize that. Grab that. All right. So, back to what we were doing. Then B, who conducts the activities, don't really care. Let's see. Although I didn't see anything on here that said about a scientist, but you know that's just whatever that is. C. Let's see. What did I note over here? Results of the. Oh yeah, this is great. When the activity is conducted, the organization will conduct its scientific research program throughout the year. Experiments will be conducted as often as need is identified and funds are available. Results of these experiments and research will be compiled and presented to the general public upon completion of each project. So why did I get hit for using your results? Why did I get a copyright strike for using your results in my FECore can't laser video? You would probably be best to recant that. Because you're saying it in your own words here that your results are public domain. Okay? Doesn't mean I'm trying to own them. I don't think I would. But I'm not trying to own them, and I'm not selling them to anybody. I am selling, I have monetization on my channel for the work that I do and the criticism and journalism type activities that I do. But I'm not trying to own your shit, so... Let's see. So makes me wonder why that video is still down, even knowing that this stuff is in place. Okay. Let's see. Item C was that. Yeah. And then let's see. Where is the activity conducted? Not really interested, other than it sounds like they're renting a room over at that Specialized Tools, or no, Shamrock Holdings, in that converted church. Let's see. In E, okay. the following activities furthers the following exempt purpose. Scientific. The organization will conduct a scientific research program on the geological earth sciences and will provide its findings to the general public. Therefore, FECore qualifies as scientific purpose under IRC Section 501c3. I think it's supposed to be IRS, but I might be wrong on that. To the general public. Why is my video still down? Let's see here. And then G, I have on here. I should read the whole thing because it is a contradiction. What I'm looking at here is I took some notes and instead of copying the whole thing over, I said on here, read it out loud. Let's see. Related literature to support this activity. Now this is where they try and copyright facts. This is where they try and copyright facts. Intellectual property. The organization will develop its own materials and, where necessary, the organization will develop its own materials where necessary to best present the information and topic or further its exempt purpose through the distribution of such materials. The organization will retain all intellectual rights to each project funded. Okay, you have rights to the project, but if your results are factual, you cannot copyright them. Period. Let's see here. To the rights, will retain all intellectual rights to each project funded through the organizations as finished work, and any copyright agreements for the use of the materials will be implemented to ensure that no individual inappropriately benefits financially from the efforts of the organization. In other words, somebody's not trying to sell their results. Well, which is it? Are you holding on to it, or is it public? Or, the organization may also provide a website, blah, 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 where people can gather those materials. Information is packed in there. Yeah. So, again, come on, man. You cannot copyright facts. And yet you are claiming that you have this stuff as copyrighted. Did you really just one off the fact that... Well, no, I didn't one off it. It's just that they actually have in this packet, they're renting a room at Shamrock Holdings. And, what do you call it? And so, for $1,000 a month, $1,000 a month, I wouldn't rent that building for $1,000 a month. But, hey, whatever. But anyway, and that is in this document package. Let's see here. Item H. Okay, H is kind of a long one. I don't think I read all the way through down to it because there was like 2 or 3 stopping points that I made here. Oh, no, I did go all the way through it. My bad. Let's see. Additional information. Now, FECore has been organized to conduct scientific research program and present its findings and resources to the public. So again, cannot copyright facts. So if you want to keep your copyright strike on my video, you need to tell everybody that your stuff was fictional. And even then, you would still have to come back and say why it's not categorized as fair use. Morons. Let's see here. All FECore research projects will be selected by the FECore board members on a basis of the project's potential for discovering meaningful scientific information and the availability of resources to conduct the project. Yeah. So that means meaningful is determined by people like Bob, Rick, Karen. Is that if you are claiming the Earth to be flat, that means that that's the only stuff that you are actually what do you call it? That's the only stuff that that you are actually trying to prove is flat Earth, and you've been quoted as saying it. Okay, so back to the conflict of interest thing. Sly Sparkane, that $1,000 is going to one of the board members. Yeah, I know. That is kind of interesting, because, yeah, but there's a different name as the actual property person. So that's something that could be discussed. Um, in other words, Shamrock Holdings is not, at least on the document, it wasn't listed as belonging to Rick Hummer. So I mean that's an interesting point, but not really something that I can really throw together. Let's see here. Examples of projects will include. Hold on a second. Where is it? Examples of projects will include, but not be limited to, studying the curvature of the Earth over bodies of water using lasers. Thank you for confirming yourself as a flat Earth organization. Studying the curvature of the Earth? Either you are saying in a legal document that the Earth is curved and you are studying that curvature, or you are just outing yourself as a flat Earth organization. Atmospheric test to measure refraction. Y'all didn't do that. Long distance microwave transmission. Apparently you failed at that twice, which according to your somewhat sort of legal guy, Riley, if you failed twice, which you have on that, if you failed twice, then it's an automatic failure. I have the quote for where Riley said that. Let's see. And similar geological surveillance and testing. Yeah. Okay. Interesting. Whatever. Must be somewhere in that gyroscope thing. The organization will provide the basic findings of its scientific research as well as developed equipment and blueprints free of charge for the general public. Though it will retain ownership of the intellectual property researched and developed. That is actually against the law. Okay. Because, once again, you cannot copyright nor own facts. So if you provided research that yields facts, you cannot own them. Okay, now you can own your film material of you guys doing it and all this other stuff. You can do that. But, yeah. Let's see. I think it's a little bit further down here. Okay, that's the OFAC stuff. Let's see. The organization will offer supporting memberships through its website that will allow different levels of access. What do you call it? Yeah. Oh, yeah. Hold on a second. The organization will offer supporting memberships through its website that will allow different levels of access to more details of each research project and experiment. Okay, now this is funny because hold on a second. Where was that? Because I wanted to go back through that. There we go. It's in the same spot. It was just before it. My bad. FECore will not give any individual or organization any preferential release information. Yet in the very, like 3 lines later, what do you call it? The organization will offer supporting memberships through its website that will allow different levels of access to more details. And it's even been mentioned, declared by FECore. I don't remember if it was exactly Bob that outed it or if it was Mike. It was one of those two, though, where it said that all of their test results will actually be sent to all of their non-member members for review and scrutiny before anybody else gets that. That's called preferential release. So you're lying on your own damn document, dude. Okay, so anyway, I didn't want to make this go on too long because, this OFAC stuff, this is just about what countries, because they have international dealings. You got some people who are in Hungary, some in Netherlands, in various countries. They have to fill out this information that says that they don't deal with people that are on the OFAC list. It has to do with trade sanctions and all that other wacky crap. Fundraising plans. No professional fundraising is planned. Okay. Funding will be sought through supporting member donations. What about those tickets that you sold for the microwave transmission? gonna have to look at that, as well as through grants and individual corporate sponsorships. Yeah, there's something financial I actually have to question on that. Now, I didn't go through the financials, but there was one or two spots where the numbers did kind of hit me. Um, hey, Sly, did they lease the whole building? As it doesn't say any individual rooms in the lease. Yeah, I noticed that too, but like I said, I'm just not there yet. As far as and plus, that's not necessarily a big interest of mine, but it is something to note. Let's see. The board of directors and others interested in supporting the work organization will develop and implement direct solicitations and grant requests as the interest can be identified. Online contributions will be facilitated at the website. Okay. The organization will comply with regulatory requirements for the online donations as they are developed. No materials have been developed at this time. FECore will conduct various fundraising events. Unless I'm mistaken, fundraising events are actually supposed to be voluntary, meaning that there's not a price to them. People just donate money to be at a location. So it's kind of interesting that I think those tickets were going for like $10 a pop. I don't remember. But that's something that would have to go into greater detail. Developed by the board of directors in order to help cover the operating costs of the organization. Now, here's the funny part. There was one number, and there's a whole bunch of numbers to go through here, and I think most of them are like quite well inflated. But I thought that this was kind of interesting. Now, this document here was actually, he's talking about for year-to-date January 2018. Okay, now he put on here research expense cost of parts for machine. Now, the only machines that I'm aware of that they have used, now the tests that they've done up to this point have been the gyroscope, the microwave test, and the laser tests. Now, as Mike stated, they got donated all of that, with the exception of the gyroscope. One of the guys that's associated with them built it of his own money, so therefore it wouldn't surprise me to see about $1,000 sitting there for that. But maybe two. But 37 grand? I saw this when he was flipping through this on our live discussion, but 37 grand? And then their projected, their proposed expenses for 2018 were 10 grand. I like this. Through 2019, 50 grand. And now, mind you, these aren't things that are actual factual numbers. These are proposed amounts. In other words, they got big plans, but it doesn't mean that they're going to actually end up on the document. Please understand that. But I just found that part interesting. Current tax year, for the taxes they didn't file, 1 January 2018 year to date. In other words, up to and including that date. 37 grand. For what? What did you spend 37 grand on? And excuse me, this also isn't a sum of things, so you can't say like the hotel costs and people flying in from wherever and all this other stuff. No. Cost of parts for machine. And what I also don't see here is, well, let's see, I don't know. Like I said, I haven't gone through heavily through the numbers part because the numbers part doesn't really interest me all that much. And plus, until you see receipts, these are just numbers. But it's just that sounds awfully cost of parts for what machine? I'd like to see the receipts for those, homie, if you're claiming that. Because you got donated the equipment for your salad device. You stated that online. You said that a company had actually donated stuff to that. So if anybody's expense reports that would land on, it would be theirs, not yours. Especially not under a research expense, cost of parts for machine. Okay, now this could be that, what do you call it? The ring laser gyro. Could be that, But according to Bob, nobody bought that. Somebody else outside bought that. So I don't really know. I mean, because this is a dollar amount. These are projected, but this is a dollar amount. So I'd really like to know where that came from. But anyway, that's just a preliminary reading. You guys can crunch the numbers on these things a lot more, which I would highly recommend somebody do. And then the yes and no's here, there was a couple of them in here that I found a little bit interesting, but like I said, they require much deeper research. But all in all, the narrative is what was important to me, and the bylaws. Those are what were important to me. And so, yeah. Oh, wait. In here, there was a conflict of interest article. Officers, indemnity. Conflict of interest. Let's see. Purpose. The purpose of the conflict of interest policy is to protect this tax-exempt organization's interest when it is contemplating entering into a transaction or an arrangement that might benefit the private interest of it, blah, blah, blah. Okay, that's what that is. Now, interested person. Financial interest. Okay, now financial interest, I'm sorry. All of the members of FECore who have a monetized channel promoting Flat Earth have a conflict of interest. That's what it is. It is a conflict of interest because if this organization produces a test result that goes against what they have on their private stuff, then they lose money. Bob would lose money, or Karen would lose money, or Steve, or Rick Hummer, or any of these guys, Lurch. Any of these guys would lose money. So what's funny is they would have to, and these are the board of directors. Okay, they would have to actually push the same narrative, otherwise they lose money on their personal side. That is the definition of a conflict of interest. So therefore, why are any of these flat earthers with flat earth content on their flat earth channels promoting flat earth, selling gear, having Patreon accounts, taking in an income, having maybe even their own websites? Why would they want to push anything but flat earth through FECore? That is a conflict of interest. So your whole board is a stacked deck, dude, to include yourself. So, anyway, I don't know. Yeah, Jeranism is no longer on there. I think possibly because that might have came down as a conflict of interest because it's his name all over Globebusters. Okay, and also he has a Patreon account, so therefore he would stand to lose money if Flat Earth folded. And FECore is all about promoting Flat Earth, even though they're not allowed to say that, or they don't want to say that. So therefore, if they're promoting Flat Earth, if Jeranism or any of these other guys who are on this board promoted anything but Flat Earth via FECore, they would lose money on their personal side. That is a conflict of interest. Period. So, ladies and gents, like I said, I just wanted to go through this a little bit. And Mike, I'll be looking forward to you taking down the copyright strike now that you have plainly said here in writing that FECore submits its information to the public for public use. You dropped my FECore Can't Laser video with a timestamp showing the results documentation from your FECore thing. It was actually just page 13 as far as I remember. And sorry, but if you're going to say that the information is for the public, you can't renege on that and then throw me a false copyright strike. Pull your copyright strike, Mike. All right? There's already an inquiry going into that one as well. So, it's a question of who wants to move first. Do you want to take the intellectual responsibility and say, hey, you know what? I have integrity. It was bullshit me knocking that video off. Sure, I'll pull that copyright strike back because that copyright strike was submitted by FECore Inc. Okay, it wasn't by any individual. It was by FECore Inc. So if you want to hold on to that integrity, or if you want to just sit there and keep on putting out bullshit, it's up to you, man. It's your channels, because this one was submitted by FECore. And that could be dangerous to the FECore channel. So, ladies and gents, that was all I had for today. I hope you found my information informative. Feel free. You'll see a couple of times in the chat here. I see Tommy also posted it. I think. Well, it was posted a couple of times. The link that was provided by Mike Kavanaugh to the FECore website, showing the, by the way, is IRS forms actually on the FECore website. It's up on the top bar now. So this is public information. I outed nothing to you. And feel free to go through that, scrutinize it. Anything you find really interesting, go ahead and post it below this video. Or make your own video, because that's how fun this is. All right, ladies and gents, that's all I got. Look forward to talking to you tomorrow, tomorrow later. But, one thing that you will also notice here is I am going to make a change to my videos list. I have a bunch of smaller updates, and a lot of people were getting a little bit pissed off about that because they got notified about, just updates of this FECore situation. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to make the majority of those unlisted, but then put them in a playlist and all by itself, so you can still watch them if you need to or reference them for whatever. But they're not going to jumble up my my videos list. Okay? So that's going to be happening probably in the next day or so. So nobody be alarmed when you see stuff go down. I'm just going to be moving it. If you already have the links to it, you're good to go. So you forgot the email from Mike where he admitted to having... I don't have that email. So that will be for your show, Sean. Sean is alluding to, there's apparently an email he said where he admitted to having no offices in North Liberty. Like I said, we already know that they don't have an FECore office, and according to this document, way down towards the bottom, well, let me get mine out. What do you call it? They are renting a room, where was it? At Shamrock Holdings. They're renting a room. Now, it doesn't say the square meters on here, or excuse me, square feet, but for $1,000 a month. I'm sorry, $1,000 a month for a room in that thing? Come on, man. Really? Somebody's making out like a fat rat on that. Tenant representative is Rick Hummer, but the landlord is Thomas England. So that's something. And, yeah, the FECore logo and all this other stuff. And it even has a thing on here about the membership fees. But down here was an updated list of the board members, and no, Jeranism is not listed on there anymore. I'm sure he'll still be involved, but having him listed as a board member and then everything below Globebusters being Jeranism.com, not wise. Ladies and gents, I keep on going on, man. I could... Damn. You guys have a great weekend. Oh, wait. Yeah, that's right. I forgot. I'm using OBS now, so I can do this. That and that, and y'all have a great weekend.
Oh my God.